I caught my girlfriend cheating with my rich second-generation roommate. My roommate arrogantly said to me, "Poor people don't deserve to be in relationships." My girlfriend held up her bag. "See this? You couldn't afford it even if you didn't eat or drink for your entire life." I looked closely. Isn't that my mother's bag? My girlfriend Tian has been acting strange lately. When I invite her to dinner, she says she's on a diet. When I give her gifts, she makes all kinds of excuses. When I want to go to the library with her, she says she can study in her dorm. My roommate Zhao Fan has also been acting strange. He used to just lie in bed playing games, but these days he's always going out. Sometimes he doesn't come back for several nights in a row, and when he does, he falls asleep immediately. Hey, Brother Fan is back. How many hours of intense battle this time? Zhang Zhe's vulgar voice rang in my ears. Zhao Fan gave me a meaningful look, twirling his car keys. Not that many hours, but she said I was much better than her ex-boyfriend. Damn, bro Fan, you got a car? This car must cost over 1,000,000 yuan, right? It's my dad's car. He has too many cars to drive them all. Want to take a ride? I can take you guys for a spin. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe immediately cheered and got up ready to go. Zhao Fan fixed his hair in the mirror, while the other two instantly flattered him about how handsome he looked. "Li Yan, do you want to come along?" Zhao Fan asked casually. I shook my head, indicating I still needed to study, and the three of them walked away arm in arm. Why are you even asking him, Fan? He's just a poor guy. He probably hasn't even ridden in a car his whole life. I was just being nice, wanted to let him experience what riding in a luxury car feels like, but he doesn't appreciate it. The roommates left while joking around. I looked downstairs and indeed saw Zhao Fan driving a BMW 7 Series. My dad also has a car like this, though usually Uncle Zhao is the one driving it. Uncle Zhao is my family's driver. When I first entered college, my parents worried I wouldn't adapt to school life, so they bought me a villa near campus, having Uncle Zhao drive me and Aunt Zhao take care of me. But I thought living in the dorms was nice, so I never moved in. I invited Tian out for a meal as usual, but she just replied she'd already eaten and then went silent. We haven't seen each other for a week now. I wonder if she's angry with me. I bought flowers and ordered some small cakes, then headed toward Tian's building. She wouldn't answer my calls, so I had to ask her roommate to pass on the message. A moment later, Tian came storming down. "Baby, I bought you flowers and cakes. Do you like them?" Instead of being happy, Tian rushed over and smashed the cakes in my hand to pieces. "What are you doing? Didn't I tell you not to come? Don't you know I hate it when you make decisions like this on your own?" I was completely confused. I bent down to pick up the things, looking at Tian's angry face. All my questions melted into tenderness again. "Baby, what's wrong? Is there something I've been doing wrong lately?" "No, you're doing fine, but I don't like you anymore. Let's break up. I don't want to eat at the cafeteria with you anymore. I don't want to accompany you for graduate school exams, and I certainly don't want to eat this garbage cake you bought." What I bought was actually a dessert that even my grandmother particularly enjoyed, but somehow Tian despised it so much. Wasn't it Tian who told me she wanted to elevate her social status, which is why I helped her prepare for graduate school? Besides studying, I couldn't think of any other way to improve one's social standing. Tian walked away without looking back, leaving me alone to endure the whispers of surrounding classmates. I cleaned up the mess on the ground and left as well. "Wow, Li Yan, you're going viral." I looked at Lu Hao with a completely confused expression as he pointed at the phone in his hand. I took it and saw that a video of Tian and me had been posted on the confession wall. In the video, Tian was covering her face and crying, while I frowned at the mess on the ground. The confession wall caption read, "Can certain male students please stop being so shameless? She already rejected you, yet you still come looking for her with flowers and cake. This is pure harassment." I took the phone wanting to reply that it wasn't like that. Tian and I were boyfriend and girlfriend. But then I saw Tian's comment. Sob. Girls are really too easily harassed. Everyone must protect themselves. Many uninformed students were cursing at me, and though some students who were present at the scene defended me, their voices were too few and quickly drowned out by the curses. I wanted Tian to clarify, only to discover that she had already blocked me. Zhao Fan walked in like a gust of wind, swinging his car keys and opening his mouth smugly. "Brothers, get ready. I'll take you to meet my girlfriend." "That's our bro Fan for you. It hasn't even been a week, and he's already won her over." That's right. I thought she was so high and mighty. But once I gave her a small gift and took her for a spin in my car, I instantly got her. Looking at the smug Zhao Fan, I suddenly had the idea to ask him for advice on how to please girls. I raised my phone to share my confusion with Zhao Fan. After reading through my chat history with Tian, Zhao Fan let out a scornful laugh. "I don't chase girls, they come chasing after me. After all, I'm a rich second generation, not like you. No looks, no money. What girl in her right mind would want to be with you?" I was stunned for a moment and looked toward Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe. Zhang Zhe shook his head and flattered. "Zhao Fan, Not everyone can be like Bro Fan, who has both looks and money. But Bro Fan is right. Poor guys don't deserve to date. I mumbled to myself, but I'm not that poor. Upon hearing this, Zhao Fan reacted as if he'd heard some ridiculous joke. Did you guys hear that? He says he's not poor. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe also burst into laughter. Your entire outfit is worth less than my underwear. You're always either in the study room or the library, poor and pretentious. We're all from second-tier universities. Who are you trying to impress with your hard work? Accept your fate. Studying is useless. Money is the only thing that matters. Just as I was about to argue back, the three of them left the room laughing, leaving me alone in the dormitory. I didn't understand. We were all still students, yet their competitive mentality had become so intense. Late at night, Lu Hao called me to pick them up as they had all been drinking and couldn't drive. I rushed to the night market outside campus, only to discover that the girl sitting beside Zhao Fan was none other than Tian Tian, who had just had a big fight with me a few days ago. Tian Tian was leaning against Zhao Fan's chest, visibly drunk. Zhao Fan's hand was tucked inside Tian Tian's top, showing no regard for the presence of Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe. I was furious and reached out to hit Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan didn't back down either, pushing Tian Tian away and retaliating with 2 punches to my face. Soon Zhao Fan and I were brawling. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe pulled us apart, while Tian Tian tenderly caressed Zhao Fan's wounds. Lu Hao quietly advised me not to oppose Zhao Fan, saying his family had considerable influence, and if I angered him, I wouldn't be able to stay peacefully until graduation. We made too much noise, and onlookers called the police. At the police station, when the officer asked why I hit someone, I said Zhao Fan was mistreating my girlfriend. Tian Tian crossed her arms and coldly said, "I'm not his girlfriend. We broke up long ago." I anxiously objected, while Zhao Fan snorted contemptuously. "Lian, just accept that the girl doesn't want to be with you. Look at you, always taking girls to eat at the cafeteria, going to the library, giving cheap little trinkets as gifts. If you're broke, don't date. You're just wasting a girl's youth." As he spoke, Zhao Fan waved the car keys in his hand. The police officer cleared his throat, asking Zhao Fan to put away his luxury car keys, and questioned Tian Tian about her relationship with me. "We were a couple before, but we've broken up. Does the police need to get involved when couples break up? Look at this bag." Lian couldn't afford it even if he worked his entire life without eating or drinking. Tian Tian displayed her Hermes Birkin bag. My mother had the same model, though she thought it made her look old, so she never carried it. The surrounding police officers frowned. After hearing this, clearly disapproving of Tian Tian's values. After clarifying the truth of the matter, the police waved their hands and told us to call our academic advisor, or none of us would be allowed to leave. Zhang Zhe and Lu Hao looked at me. I looked at them, and none of us wanted to notify our advisor for fear of being disciplined. Zhao Fan curled his lip and defiantly called the advisor. The advisor let out a shrill noise over the phone. After arriving at the police station, he kept apologizing to the police, and only then were we all taken away. The counselor waved for Tian Tian to leave, but she kept looking back, afraid that I would get into another fight with Zhao Fan. In the office, the counselor rubbed his temples and asked us what happened. I kept my head down and remained silent. The counselor slammed his hand on the desk, and Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe tremblingly recounted what had happened. A bunch of hot-headed boys fighting over a girl, causing trouble that involved the police. Have you no dignity as young men? Each of you will write a 5,000-word self-criticism and submit it to my office by noon tomorrow. All of you are disqualified from scholarships and honors this year. Let's see if you'll learn your lesson." Zhao Fan spoke with contempt. "Who cares about those few thousand yuan? It's not even enough to buy me a pair of shoes. Lian, if you dare go near Tian Tian again, I'll make you pay. Just try it and see who's afraid of whom." The counselor threw something down and cursed. "Who are you going to teach a lesson? Zhao Fan, your family must be powerful, bypassing the law now. You write me a 10,000-word self-criticism. If you don't finish it, prepare to be expelled. The rest of you can go. Lian, you stay behind." Zhao Fan straightened his clothes and slammed the office door as he left. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe quickly followed him out. After Zhao Fan and the others left, the counselor's expression instantly changed. He hurriedly asked me to sit down and applied medicine to my wounds. I'm removing Zhao Fan from his class monitor position. Zhao Fan was the class monitor and had often used his small authority to bully classmates since the beginning of college. For instance, he would give financial aid opportunities to friends he was close with, and strike off names of students he disliked from award nomination lists. I had been disgusted by him for a long time, so since things had come to this, I would teach him a lesson. The counselor quickly issued a notice, replacing the class monitor with another female student. There was nothing he could do about it. After all, my father is the richest man in the province, paying several hundred million in taxes annually. Even the air conditioners in the school dormitories were funded by my mother who, concerned about my comfort, had generously approved the money when I enrolled. It's embarrassing to say, but my grandfather went to Tsinghua, my grandmother to Peking University, my father has a PhD, my mother earned her master's in the US, and my sister was the top scholar in our province. My family's uncles, cousins, brothers, and sisters are spread across prestigious universities both domestically and internationally, while my father spent hundreds of thousands, finally managed to get into a second-tier college. My sister's brutal assessment. Our Li family's ancestral grave can't keep emitting green smoke forever. Didn't Lu Hao say Zhao Fan's family has some influence? I'd like to see what kind of influence could possibly override our family. I heard Zhao Fan threw a huge tantrum in the dorm and even called that girl, threatening that if she dared to serve as class monitor, he'd make it impossible for her to survive in this city. Big talk. We'll see who can't survive here. I called the sales associate at the local Hermes store. Thanks to my mother, she still remembered me. Mr. Lee, how may I help you? I want to buy a bag for my mother. I saw a nice model on the official website. Could you check if it's in stock? I sent the bag photo to the store associate, and she quickly replied, I'm sorry, Mr. Lee, but are you perhaps mistaken about the style? This model only sold 1 unit in our city this year, and I can see the payment account belongs to your father. I made up an excuse to end the call, but the store associate's words further confirmed my suspicion. Zhao Fan's car is the same model as my father's, and the bag Zhao Fan gave to Tian is the same model as my mother's. I may not be good at studying, but that doesn't mean I'm a fool. I found the thief, but what about the seller? I made time to return to the villa near my school. When Aunt Zhao saw me come back, she looked shocked and hurriedly stood up to block my way. Young master, why have you come back? Do I need to notify you in advance when I return to my own home? Aunt Zhao waved her hands, saying that wasn't what she meant, just that she didn't know I was coming back and hadn't cleaned the house. I told her I was only back to get something and would leave shortly. Only then did Aunt Zhao step aside. While surveying the layout of the villa, I casually opened my mouth. Mrs. Zhao, how many children do you have? 1. He's in college now too. Where is he studying? Sure enough, Mrs. Zhao told me where her son went to school and what major he was studying, her words full of pride for her child. From Mrs. Zhao's words, I understood that she didn't know that her son Zhao Fan and I were at the same school, even sharing the same dormitory, which meant Zhao Fan probably didn't know his parents worked for me. A plan began to form in my mind. I would build Zhao Fan up high, then let him fall into a bottomless abyss. I told Mrs. Zhao that my mother wanted the previous bag. Mrs. Zhao's face changed immediately, and she stammered that I should go upstairs to look for it, when actually she was just trying to slip away to call Zhao Fan. Son, bring back the bag you took earlier. I already gave it away. How am I supposed to get it back? Are you deliberately trying to embarrass me? No, I won't. Can't you just say you lost it? If you can't handle even this small matter, you're completely useless. Zhao's aunt was speaking nicely with a forced smile, but all she received in return was Zhao Fan's scolding. I had thought Zhao Fan was just young and impulsive with a strong sense of vanity, but I never expected him to be so unreasonable toward his own mother. How about this? I'll bring the bag over, and you let me live in the villa from now on. That family never comes back anyway, so it's a waste to leave the house empty. Zhao's aunt didn't agree immediately. On the other end of the phone, Zhao Fan first roared in anger, using the most offensive language to curse Uncle Zhao and Aunt Zhao, but later switched to pleading, saying how difficult his life was at school and that he just wanted to repay them after he became successful. Zhao Fan painted a rosy picture for Zhao's aunt, who reluctantly agreed and urged Zhao Fan to bring the bag over quickly. When Zhao's aunt came out, I told her I would come back for the bag another time. I didn't want to run into Zhao Fan now. Our game was just beginning. When I returned to the dormitory, I saw Zhao Fan packing his things. My dad's villa is finally renovated. I don't have to live in this crappy dorm anymore. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe looked on with envy as Zhao Fan casually remarked, next time you can come play at my house, but certain poor losers shouldn't come. I'm afraid my newly renovated villa might get contaminated with their stench. I wondered why Zhao Fan viewed me as a pauper. Was it because they all wore Adidas and Nike, while my clothes were handmade without brand logos? After Zhao Fan left, the dorm felt noticeably emptier. Zhang Zhe stared blankly for a while before speaking. I really envy Zhao Fan. His family is wealthy, and he's good-looking too. Sigh, his family owns a company. Lu Hao, we should maintain a good relationship with Zhao Fan. Our future prosperity might depend on him. Yeah, and Li Yin, don't take Zhao Fan's comments personally. He may not be a great person, but he's rich. We might need his help someday. In response to Lu Hao's reminder, I quietly nodded. On my phone was a message from Tian, showing her sitting in my room wearing something revealing. Li Yin, don't blame me. If I stayed with you, I would never be able to live in such a big house. In the future, if you need a favor from me, I might help you and Zhao Fan out for old time's sake. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. I've prepared a big surprise for you. I opened my computer, wanting to connect to the surveillance cameras in the villa, but found that all the cameras inside couldn't connect to the network. Zhao Fan was quite cautious, knowing to disconnect the surveillance. I had to find another way. Zhao Fan didn't disappoint me, frequently showing off his wealth on social media, all of which I screenshot and saved. Zhao Fan started touching my things, initially just wearing my hats and necklaces, but later it evolved to wearing my clothes and shoes, even my underwear. Occasionally my mother and sister would visit the villa, and they had clothes there. My sister is 172 centimeters tall, and my mother is nearly 50. Their clothes looked awkward on Tian, but she still insisted they were designer brands. Tian also started her own social media account, claiming to share the daily life of an ordinary college student, but it was actually just a thinly veiled way to flaunt her wealth. She packaged herself as a rich, beautiful, and educated young woman, implying that dating Zhao Fan was a match between equals. She quickly attracted some followers, but among them were sharp-eyed fans who pointed out that Tian's designer clothes weren't appropriate for someone her age. To silence these fans, Tian began asking Zhao Fan for money to buy things. Zhao Fan, being a fake rich second generation, didn't have much money and had to ask his parents. Uncle Zhao and Auntie Zhao had already emptied their savings to pay for his education and didn't have extra money for him to buy these luxury items. Soon, they had advanced their entire year's salary. Keep in mind, it was only April. Nevertheless, Tian did successfully attract followers and received some promotional opportunities that earned her a bit of money. When they had free time, the two would live stream, selling snacks and other small items. One day, I suddenly told Auntie Zhao that I hadn't returned to the villa that month, so they would need to handle the electricity bill themselves. God knows what those people had been doing, but they somehow used up nearly 5,000 in electricity costs in just 1 month. Zhao Fan had just earned some money and had to use it to pay the electricity bill, which made him unhappy. During a live stream, a curvaceous girl requested to connect with them and smilingly told them she lived next door and they could come over sometime. Zhao Fan's eyes immediately became dreamy, and he was distracted for the latter half of the live stream, constantly checking his phone. Tian clearly noticed this and angrily shut down the broadcast. With the live stream closed, I had no choice but to turn on my computer. The surveillance footage flickered briefly before returning to normal. I asked the store owner to give me remote access, and driven by financial incentive, the owner successfully completed the task. In the surveillance feed, Tian reached out to grab Zhao Fan's phone, but Zhao Fan dodged and impatiently pushed Tian away. When Tian questioned what Zhao Fan was doing, he replied that it was none of her business and left the house while muttering curses. The doorway surveillance showed Zhao Fan knocking on the door of the neighboring villa, leaving Tian alone in the house. Tian was so angry that she smashed a vase, and Aunt Zhao came upstairs in her high heels. "What are you doing? Do you know how expensive this vase is? Your parents couldn't afford it even if they farmed their entire lives." "I'm sorry, Auntie. I'll clean it up right away. I'll buy you a new one tomorrow. Please go rest now." At this moment, Aunt Zhao was wearing my mother's clothes, pretending to be a wealthy lady while scolding Tian. Tian has suffered a lot recently. In order to marry Zhao Fan smoothly, Tian has been trying to please Aunt Zhao. She voluntarily took over all the housework in the villa and often bought various gifts for Aunt Zhao out of her own pocket. In later live streams, it was almost only Tian appearing on camera. Tian's videos were not of high quality, showing the same few things over and over again. Her fans quickly dropped off, and the number of viewers on her live streams decreased more and more. Meanwhile, the girl next door, Ruo, was gaining more and more fans. Tian wanted to live stream together with Ruo to gain some followers using Ruo's traffic. So Tian carefully prepared a gift and went to Ruo's home, only to discover Zhao Fan was there too when the door opened. Tian questioned Zhao Fan why he was there, and Zhao Fan simply broke up with Tian, telling her to go back to wherever she came from. Tian and Ruo got into a physical fight, and Zhao Fan, in order to protect Ruo, kicked Tian in the stomach. After interacting with Ruo, Zhao Fan discovered that she was a genuine rich second-generation heir, with parents living abroad and extremely wealthy, but Ruo was lacking in love. Zhao Fan set his sights on Ruo and quickly won her over. Originally, Zhao Fan wanted to sell his image as a devoted lover on the internet, but seeing that he could no longer hide it from Tian, he simply broke up with her directly. When Aunt Zhao and Uncle Zhao heard that Ruo was a beautiful, rich young woman, they wholeheartedly approved of Zhao Fan breaking up with Tian, and late at night, they threw Tian's luggage out. Tian knelt at the villa's entrance, begging Zhao Fan not to send her away. "Zhao Fan, please, don't break up with me. As long as you're willing to break up with that woman, I can pretend nothing happened." "Break up with Ruo? Am I crazy? Are you worthy of me? Your parents are just poor farmers. Are you worthy of me? If it wasn't to spite Li Yan, I wouldn't have been with you. Get out, or I'll call security to drag you out." Uncle Zhao ruthlessly threw Tian's luggage into the trash bin. Under the threats from Zhao's family, Tian had no choice but to leave deject. Delay. Actually, if Tian had exposed Zhao Fan's breakup online at this point, she could have secured her position on the internet with public sympathy and later could have portrayed herself as an independent woman. But Tian didn't do this. She continued to maintain her image as a rich and beautiful woman, managing her account that barely had any followers left. To attract fans, she even spent money on secondhand luxury goods. But even these she couldn't afford, so she had to borrow money online. Soon, these lending companies started calling to collect debts. Tian's account still showed no improvement, and naturally, she couldn't repay the money. When she had nowhere else to turn, Tian called me, hoping I would lend her 200,000 yuan. I told her that I could provide not just 200,000, but even 2 million yuan if needed, but the hurt she caused me was too great, so I couldn't lend her the money. In desperation, Tian tearfully clarified the video from the confession wall on her personal account, sincerely reflecting that she shouldn't have despised poverty and loved wealth, hoping that I could forgive her and lend her money. Internet users weren't buying it. She cheated and still wanted her ex-boyfriend to help pay her debts. The comments section was filled with nothing but insults. Tian couldn't stand the insults and deleted the video herself, but it was already too late. The internet was full of people criticizing her. Tian sent me a message, stating that she had suffered so much because of me and telling me to transfer the money to her quickly. I replied concisely with just 2 words, "Serves you right," and then blocked her. Unable to pay back the money, companies called Tian one after another. With no other options, Tian had to drop out of school and work to repay her debts. Compared to Zhao Fan's later experiences, Tian's situation was actually considered good. Zhao Fan quit the internship arranged by the school. He felt insulted that they would have a dignified college student like him do menial work like making copies. At Zhao Fan's pleading, Rua arranged for him to work at her family's company. Coincidentally, I was also interning at this company, and due to my outstanding performance, the boss had exceptionally promoted me to team leader. Zhao Fan was assigned to my team by the management. When he saw me, he was a bit surprised but quickly replaced his expression with one of disdain. "Well, Lian, I never thought someone like you could intern at such a big company. But no matter how hard you study, what's the point? We still ended up at the same company. It's certainly not the same. I'm the team leader, and you're a team member. What's so great about being a team leader? Even as a team leader, if you make me unhappy, I can have you kicked out right now." Everyone in the office was working hard, except for Zhao Fan, who was playing game and constantly cursing at his opponents as noobs. When other colleagues asked him to keep it down, he pointed at them and scolded them directly. "Who do you think you are to question me? Do you know who I am? Don't believe I can have you fired immediately." Seeing him so tough, colleagues speculated he might be some boss's son, so they stopped confronting him directly. When getting off work, I was packing up to leave when Zhao Fan walked over and slammed a stack of documents in front of me. "Get all of these done for me." I pushed the documents aside and was about to leave when Zhao Fan blocked my way. "You're crossing the line. How dare you disobey me?" As he was about to get physical, I grabbed Zhao Fan's fist and gave him a hard punch. Seeing he was still defiant, I landed another punch on his right cheek. Zhao Fan was trembling with anger and raised his fist to fight back. "What are you two doing?" The manager's angry voice rang in our ears. Zhao Fan lowered his fist and said to me viciously, "You're dead." After explaining the situation to the manager, he waved his hand irritably. "Zhao Fan, do you still want this job or not? If it weren't for, you think someone like you could work at our company? Then why does Lian get to? Lian has a gold medal from a national competition. What do you have? Your ability to live off others. Can you still do the job or not? If not, get out." Zhao Fan stormed out, slamming the door behind him, and went straight to complain to Rua. To his surprise, instead of comforting him, she gave him a severe scolding. "I asked you to go to the company to develop your abilities, not to act like a prince. With your attitude, how can my parents feel comfortable entrusting me to you? I think we shouldn't get married after all." Not being able to marry Rua meant he wouldn't inherit her family's wealth, which meant all his efforts would have been wasted. The next day, Zhao Fan came to work with his tail between his legs. His attitude completely changed, greeting everyone with a smile. "Zhao Fan, go and complete this spreadsheet." At school, Zhao Fan had been idle and learned nothing. He didn't even know how to use Excel. But he dared not disobey my order, and by the end of the workday, Zhao Fan still hadn't learned how to complete a single spreadsheet. "Are you pig-brained? You can't even do this. Can you take responsibility if your incompetence delays the project?" Zhao Fan bowed repeatedly while apologizing, promising there wouldn't be a next time. I threw the documents in his face, and he didn't dare complain, though the flash of viciousness in his eyes betrayed his true feelings. "Fan, brother Fan." It was Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe who came over. I had deliberately invited them to dinner using Zhao Fan's name, actually intending to embarrass him. To save face, Zhao Fan told Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe that he was interning at his formal wise company but had concealed his identity. He claimed he had asked me to scold him so others wouldn't see through his disguise. Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe had strange expressions, obviously not believing this excuse. To change the subject, Zhao Fan volunteered to treat everyone to dinner. Outside the company restaurant, Zhao Fan hesitated to enter when he saw the luxurious decor. I pushed the door open first, and Zhao Fan had no choice but to reluctantly follow. During the meal, Lu Hao suddenly asked Fan to arrange for him to join his family's company. After hearing this, Zhang Zhe also expressed his interest in joining. Fan laughed nervously, saying he would talk to HR in a few days. Lu Hao immediately raised his glass to toast Fan. I scoffed, excusing myself to use the restroom but actually slipping away. After they finished the meal, they discovered the bill was quite substantial. Fan had no money on him but didn't want to lose face in front of Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe, so he called to ask me to borrow money. I emphasized Fan's status as a rich second-generation heir, speaking until Fan hung up the phone himself. I don't know how Fan managed to pay for the meal, but the next day his expression was extremely unpleasant. Soon after, Ruoru needed to go abroad. Before leaving, she entrusted all the company's affairs, big and small, to Fan. The stated reason was to train Fan. Fan believed he had already won Ruoru over. He strutted around the company and took the opportunity to hire Lu Hao and Zhang Zhe. Seeing this, many of Fan's friends sought his help, greatly satisfying Fan's vanity. In no time, the company became as noisy as a marketplace. Many employees couldn't stand it and chose to resign. Zhao Fan signed the approval letters with a grand sweep of his pen, and I resigned because of this too. By the time Ruoru returned from abroad, the company was in complete chaos. Many deals that had already been negotiated fell through due to Zhao Fan's mismanagement. Ruoru cried for a long time in her office. Zhao Fan didn't care and suggested that Ruoru just ask her family for more money, saying that would solve everything. Ruoru told Zhao Fan that the company was a test from her parents, and if the company went bankrupt, she would have to return home for an arranged marriage. When Zhao Fan heard this, he thought it was unacceptable and immediately decided to help Ruoru overcome this crisis. Ruoru promised Zhao Fan that if he could secure funding, she would transfer half of the company's shares to him, which motivated Zhao Fan even more. Zhao Fan hurried home to ask Uncle and Aunt Zhao for money, but what money could they possibly have? The two considered selling their handbags and clothes from their villa to raise money for Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan insisted, saying selling clothes and bags was too slow, and asked Uncle Zhao for the car keys, wanting to sell the car. Uncle Zhao sat on the sofa smoking, seemingly considering the feasibility of this idea. After Zhao Fan's repeated assurances and Aunt Zhao's constant urging, Uncle Zhao finally gave the car keys to Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan found an unofficial second-hand dealer to sell the car and was caught by the police on the spot. When I arrived at the police station, Uncle Zhao was repeatedly apologizing to the police. You must be the car owner, and this person almost sold your car. You should be more careful and not give your car keys to just anyone. Uncle Zhao saw me and suddenly rushed over. Young master, it was me who was bewitched and wanted to sell the car. It has nothing to do with my son. I'm willing to pay compensation. Please don't send my son to prison. Zhao Fan couldn't believe that I was the owner of the car. Dad, what are you saying to this poor guy? Shut up. Uncle Zhao roared and slapped Zhao Fan's face. Zhao Fan looked up in disbelief and immediately tried to fight back, but was stopped by the surrounding police officers. Officer, I need to file a report, I said. I took out a USB drive containing all the records of the Zhao family's misdeeds in my villa. Zhao Fan watched those videos and muttered, Impossible. I already removed the surveillance cameras. How can there still be videos? I asked the police to take action against Zhao Fan, who burst into curses. What's wrong with me living in your house? Why are you so petty? We were roommates, and my mom took care of you for so long. Don't you have any gratitude? Even the police officers who had seen all kinds of situations were amazed by Zhao Fan's thick skin. Uncle Zhao suddenly knelt down and begged me to settle this privately, saying he would do anything. Why are you kneeling to him? Dad, once Ruo and I get married, we'll definitely be richer than him. I told Uncle Zhao that I would be willing to settle privately if they could compensate me for my losses at the original price. After professional assessment, it was found that during the more than a month Zhao Fan lived in my villa, he had damaged items worth over 800,000 yuan. Uncle Zhao emptied his family's savings and borrowed from all his relatives to give me 500,000 yuan. On the day he handed me the money, Uncle Zhao's back seemed even more hunched. I didn't feel sorry for him. I just thought he was foolish. The Zhao family moved out of the villa, and the three of them squeezed into a small room to make ends meet. As for why I chose to settle privately, it was because I had other plans waiting for Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan still wouldn't give up, trying every possible way to get money, hoping to raise enough funds to marry Ruo. But with no education and no experience, he couldn't even get a bank loan. In the end, Zhao Fan also turned to online loans. First, he borrowed using his parents' ID cards, and after tasting the sweetness, he started using his own ID card to borrow. With the borrowed money, he first rented a luxury apartment for himself, then went to find Ruo. Ruo was extremely happy and said she would introduce Zhao Fan to her parents in a few days. The company's cash flow had returned to normal, and just when Zhao Fan thought he was about to become a big boss, his beautiful dream was shattered. Ruo told him that the company had been acquired, and someone would come to sign the contract that afternoon. Yes, that person was me. Lian, what right do you have to acquire my company? Your company? The legal representative of this company doesn't seem to be you, does it? Why? Why do you always have to interfere whenever I'm about to have some good fortune? You're already rich enough. Why do you still have to compete with me? I just find it interesting. As Zhao Fan held heartbrokenly, I signed my name on the contract. The company officially became mine. The moment after signing, I gave Zhao Fan a cold smile, imitating how he had previously turned his car keys. You're fired. Take your worthless friends and get out of here immediately. Being fired was certainly painful, but what was worse was that the classmates who had been flattering him were now whispering among themselves, discussing whether he was really from a wealthy family or not. Don't listen to Lian's nonsense. This is really my company. I really am a rich second generation. Really, look, this is the house I live in, a luxury apartment. Lu Hao leaned over to take a look and suddenly spoke up. Zhao Fan, the landlord is asking when you'll pay the rent you owe? It's been overdue for quite a while now. Some classmates couldn't help but laugh out loud, while Zhao Fan's face turned red as he turned off his phone. Zhao Fan spotted Ruo in the crowd, as if seeing a lifeline. Ruo, weren't you going to introduce me to your parents? I've done so much for you. Your parents will definitely compensate me, right? I want a house and a luxury car, and you need to pay back the money I borrowed. Security personnel witnessing the scene quickly pulled Zhao Fan away. Ruo frowned and said, Aren't we just ordinary friends? Why would I introduce you to my parents? Don't make things up. I have no relationship with you whatsoever. After speaking, the security guards hurriedly escorted Ruo away. Zhao Fan was left dumbfounded. Indeed, he and Ruo had never explicitly established that they were dating. Even when Ruo transferred money to Zhao Fan, she would always specify what the payment was for. People came and went through the company, while Zhao Fan stood there with a pale face, as silent as death. After a long while, he walked away with heavy steps. A few days later, I saw Zhao Fan at the police station. Zhao Fan was arrested by the police for attempted ###. After leaving that day, Zhao Fan went home and became increasingly resentful. He came up with what he thought was a good idea. If Ruo became pregnant, he could be with her. Zhao Fan staked out for several days and finally spotted Ruo returning to her high-end residential complex. However, Ruo had practiced freestyle fighting for 8 years, and with security guards patrolling the upscale community, Zhao Fan was kicked 3 meters away as soon as he grabbed Ruo's arm. At the police station, no matter how Fong insisted he had only touched Ruo briefly, the surveillance footage from multiple days showed he had been stalking her for a long time. Plus, since Ruo absolutely refused to settle the matter privately, Zhao Fan was sent to prison. His enormous debt was temporarily taken on by his parents, and due to his previous actions, many companies wouldn't hire them. Once I saw Aunt Zhao digging through trash bins for bottles, so I gave her my empty water bottle. Aunt Zhao clearly recognized me, but I didn't give her time to call out to me. I closed the car window and drove away. After graduation, I was accepted into a graduate program at another university. My father patted my shoulder and said our family ancestors must still be blessing us. Before leaving, I went to visit Zhao Fan in prison, partly out of concern for him, and partly because there was something I still hadn't told him. Zhao Fan was having a miserable time. I'd heard that sexual offenders are treated the worst in prison, and internet users weren't lying about that. Just looking at Zhao Fan's face, I could tell he had taken many beatings in there. When Zhao Fan saw me, he wanted to rush over, but was stopped by the prison guard. I didn't want to say much to him, only one sentence. Do you remember Ruo? She's my cousin, studying performance in America. Well, how was her acting? Convincing, right? Zhao Fan stared at me in shock, pounding on the window frantically, threatening that he would make sure I wouldn't die a good death. How stupid,